Members of Parliament from more than 20 nations came here to the heart of Kfar Aza to see for themselves firsthand the destruction from October 7th.
Today we have the largest delegation of members of parliament around the world since October 7th. The importance is not just to educate them on what actually happened here so they can see it for themselves.
Josh Reinstein, president of the Israel Allies Foundation, organized the visit.
Well, these parliamentarians aren't just members of parliament, they're actually chairmen of caucuses of many groups of members of parliament in their home countries. We have 53 Israel Allies caucuses, 21 of them are actually presented here today. These people represent hundreds and even thousands of people who support Israel. So it's important for them to understand so they can go back to their parliaments and explain to their colleagues as well.
The experience made a powerful impression.
It's terrible. It was terrible to read what the terrorist organization did here.
This is a reaction of shock and realizing how brutal these people, are they called people, can be. And it's something which is not acceptable. We cannot remain without any move, without any steps to change the situation. But the main problem is in their head and in their hearts. So it's not a problem so much of military power. And I think something has to be done with the way of thinking. And this is the thing we need to address, because these people can repeat such a deeds again. And as we have heard the leaders of Hamas, they promised to do it again. Yeah. So this is not something we can allow, and we need to change the way of thinking.
The group signed a resolution calling for the end of UNRWA, the UN agency found to be filled with Hamas terrorists.
I feel a terrible betrayal, because these people were supposed to help. This was an international body, and they simply lied to people who commissioned them to help the hostages. This is a terrible deceit.
When the war has gone on, and we can see also that civilians always suffer during the wartime, we understand that we need some kind of organization taking care of the humanitarian aid. And this is what the international community would have to decide on. What type of organization could be more useful than UNRWA has been until now?
Member of Knesset Sharon Haskell addressed the group and explained why their visit is so important.
We see such a mass denial from social media and some, mainstream full media. But what had actually happened here, those representatives who came here to see through their own eyes what we've actually experienced here, one of the worst butcher and massacre that Israel had ever experienced in its history, is critical. I mean, they see the evidence, they feel it, they understand it, and no one can deny that.
Haskell says Israel is fighting on the front lines of the battle facing the world.
What we're fighting here, it's not a territorial war. This is not a Russian-Ukrainian war. This is a war on our values. This is a war against radical Islam. I mean, they had their territory. They didn't fight for that. They are fighting for the complete annihilation of the state of Israel and butchering and massacring every single living Jew. You need to understand, this land is the front gate. I mean, we're fighting this war that the rest of the world might be behind. I mean, it's creeping in, but we are literally fighting on our identity, on our values, on democracy, on liberties, freedom, women's rights, freedom of speech, equality. That's what we're really fighting for. And this is a fight and a war that the rest of the world has to join forces together, because it doesn't stop in Israel. It's already in Europe, in North America, Central and South America. It's everywhere. It's spreading. And wherever there's evil, we have to stand and be very, very clear about it, that there's zero tolerance towards it.
Reinstein says Christian support is vital during this dark time in Israel's history.
It's Christians, not countries, that are standing with Israel. What makes this a very special event is that these people are all men and women of faith. These are Christian legislators who take their biblical support and turn to real political action. We call that faith-based diplomacy, and that's what's unique about this conference, that so many members of parliament from around the world have come together as people of faith to stand with Israel.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Kfar Aza, Israel.